Hi, everyone. Good morning, and thanks for joining me today. I see already we've got quite a few people here. My grandson Isaac is watching. Hi, Isaac. See you later on today. Jay's here. Ginger's here. June, Aaron. We've so many people. Robin, good morning to you all, and thanks for joining me. I've got a lot of information to give you today. I have a lot of links. And what I did was I created a whole list of links to everything I'm going to talk about today. It's been posted on Embroidery Garden's Facebook page. It's been posted in my In the Hoop Facebook group. If you're watching on YouTube, down below the video, if you click on, I think it's show more, you'll see all the links come up. You might want to grab a pen and paper to take a few notes because, like I said, there is a ton of information. I see Peggy, Adrian, Francis, Lisa here from Indiana. She's near me, not very far from me. Patricia, Diane, it's snowing in Iowa. I'm glad it's not snowing here. It's cooled down here, but it's not too bad today. So I kind of want to get started because, like I said, I have a lot of information to give you. If you notice, if you are typing in a comment and it says Facebook user, okay, you need to give StreamYard permission to use your name. And this is the link you're going to have to go to. I'm just posting it now. The reason being, for the drawing that I'm going to do at the end of this giveaway, it's going to have to be a name. If someone called a Facebook user is the winner, I'm going to have to redraw until I get an actual name because could be a ton of Facebook users. You have to give StreamYard permission to use your name. So how do you enter in the giveaway for the $20 gift card to embroiderygarden.com at the end of the demo? Right up here says #garden. You have to type that in to the comments one time and you'll be entered into the drawing. Typing it more than once does not improve your chances of winning. It actually kicks it out. So just type it in one time. There's a program running behind the scenes here, gathering all those #gardens. But make sure that if you are coming up as Facebook user, that you give StreamYard permission to use your name. Otherwise, again, someone named Facebook user cannot win the gift card. So let's start talking about what's coming up with Embroidery Garden. I have been so busy. It's been crazy, and I got a lot of things coming up. So I got my list here of everything. The first thing I want to talk about, there is a giveaway happening on Embroidery Garden's Facebook page, and you really should be liking and following the page so that you see all these notices that I put up. The giveaway on Embroidery Garden's Facebook page is for the Embroiderer's Compass. This is a handy embroidery tool that is it's going to help you determining what type of needle and stabilizer to use on what type of fabric. This was developed by Deborah Jones, who is an embroidery expert. A lot of you probably know Deborah, or at least have heard of Deborah. But anyway, it's this little wheel. This thing turns in here. And if you can see along the outside edge are different types of fabric. We have cotton, sweatshirts, faux fur, velvet, all different kinds of fabrics. And what you do is you take this little pointer here, line it up with the fabric that you want to embroider on. And then in this window, it's going to tell you what type of stabilizer to use. Down here in this window, it's going to tell you what needle you should use. And then down here at the bottom, we'll come up with some helpful tips that Deborah herself wants to give you when you're embroidering these type of fabrics. It's double-sided. So on the other side, you got more fabrics listed all the way around, and it works the same way as the other side does. So you go to Embroidery Garden's Facebook page. You're going to have to scroll down a little to find the giveaway post and just read it and comment on it. The winner is going to be picked today because I announced this, I can't remember, maybe it was Sunday or Monday last week. So it's going to close tonight actually. The winner will be tagged on the post. So make sure you get entered to win this handy little tool. The next thing is my new Monroe Purse, my In the Hoop Monroe Purse. It goes off sale tonight at midnight Central Time. This is the purse that I demoed last week. Yeah, it was last week. It was the 13th with all brands. I demoed this purse, showed you exactly how to make it. So if you need a video, go to All Brands Facebook page or their YouTube channel and you can rewatch it. So the Monroe Purse has a flap that closes with a snap. It's an open top purse, meaning, there is no zipper up here at the top. So it's fully lined, of course, no raw edges inside. Closed with a snap, but it does have an outside pocket. This pocket is fully lined, no raw edges inside. I did embroider part of a design from my hand sketch floral set on it. The florals are not included. It is a blank bag, so you can stitch whatever you want to on it. And then of course there's little tabs with the strap. Let me snap it shut here. But this goes off sale tonight. This is for a 6x10 hoop. Let's see, after that. On Tuesday, April 25th, I partnered up with Shannon Fabrics. If you don't know, I am a Shannon Fabrics brand ambassador. And let me try I wrapped it around something here. I'm in a tight space here and things are falling down already. But every Tuesday, Shannon Fabrics national educator, Teresa Coates, does a live video on a project using Cuttle. She came up with this really cute pattern for a cinch sack backpack. Isn't this cute? And of course, it's made with Cuttle. Cuttle is that really soft, luxurious fabric. It has Cuttle on the front and back. The inside is cotton fabric. There's a clever, cute little inside pocket in here. And it's drawstring. It's got the loops for, making it into a backpack. You've got your drawstring. What I did was I created a set of embroidery designs called Bedtime, Night Sky. And there are a few appliques in it and, some lettering. Dream big, little one. This is the applique Sleepy Moon. There are two sizes of just filled stars. And what I did was scatter them all around. There is a star and a cloud with sweet dreams in it. Teresa intended this to kind of be like a little bag for a little one for a sleepover at grandma's house or, to sleep over at a friend's house. But all the designs will fit a 4x4 hoop. All I did was I combined, a couple of other designs. You'll get the pattern, which I believe is going to be on their blog. And the designs are for sale at embroiderygarden.com. Bedtime Night Sky. Real cute project. It's very easy to sew. It is a sewing project. Next thing coming up. So that's the 25th, next Tuesday. Next Saturday, I'm partnered up with Angela Wolf, Cindy Hogan, Rhonda Seacrest, Joanne Banco, Karina Paulson, and myself. We're doing a one-day virtual event. And Angela Wolf is the host, and everyone's doing a different project. And let me see what I did with my project. I swear I just had these things. Oh, they fell down on the floor. Let me grab them. Okay, so what I'm doing is this cute little In the Hoop mini clutch with the flap. This is for a 5x7 hoop. This one-day event is an event that you have to register for. If you use my code Reen VIP, you'll get $20 off the registration for the event. It's an all-day event, 6 educators, 6 projects with sewing and embroidery. My little clutch has a quilted flap that I use foam in. We're going to be using foam today in the Patty Jo purse. And it has a zipper opening underneath, fully lined, no raw edges. The design is only available through this event. Let's see. Rhonda from Stitch and Time Designs, she's going to do a really cute tote bag with sea creatures. That's her theme. You're going to get all 5 designs, could be 6 designs for that. She's going to show you how to take those designs, use Inktense pens, and, paint them with shading and everything. Very easy to do. Don't get, scared about painting. Add rhinestones. Really cute project. Angela Wolf is going to do some draping, which is a sewing technique. Cindy Hogan is doing some really cute in the hoop coasters. Joanne Banco's project is part sewing, part embroidery. It's a spa set. And Karina Paulson is going to be doing a really neat card organizer that is a sewing project. Again, all of these links to everything I'm talking about have been posted on Embroidery Garden's Facebook page. They've been posted in Embroidery Garden's Facebook group. If you are watching this on YouTube, underneath the video, you can click on, I believe it says show more. All the links are right there. So you got links to everything. Let's see, what else? So that's next Saturday, the 29th. Also on the 29th, at midnight, the sale on the Patty Jo purse collection ends. So make sure you get that before you got another week still to get the Patty Jo purse collection. Let's see, May the 2nd, that is my May Tuesday tip. And what I'm going to show is, let me grab here it is, the Monroe Purse. And what I'm going to show you is, I had some questions. Someone even posted in my group yesterday about how to make an adjustable strap. Let me get it turned around here. So I'm going to show you how to make an adjustable strap, show you how I make straps and how to make them adjustable. So, if you want to make it longer, pull it down. You need it to be shorter, you pull it up. So that's going to be the Tuesday tip, how to make an adjustable strap. I know people have asked that several times. So I'm going to show that on the Tuesday tip. I hope to get that event listed on Embroidery Garden's Facebook page like Monday or Tuesday. So watch for that. On May 11th, I'm going to do my 3rd Takeover Tuesday with Sewing Machines Plus. And what that is I basically get to take over their Facebook page for about an hour and show you a project. I haven't really determined what I'm going to do. I was thinking about doing a project of mine that uses vinyl, like clear vinyl. I don't think I've done something like that yet. But if you have an idea of something you might like to see, pop it in the comments and I'll see what I can do, because I haven't finalized the project for that yet. And so, okay. And the May demo, I have it scheduled, I think, for the 20th, if that is a Saturday. And what I'm going to show you how to do, and again, I dropped it. So let me pick that up. Everything it's over here on a little table. And then as soon as I start doing stuff, it starts falling off. So on my next demo in May, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to do a recipe towel. So what it'll involve is small lettering. And, this one we have by our bar. It's a recipe for a drink. And I think even at this distance, you can read my lettering. And we're going to go over how to do small lettering and what I use. And, it is kind of simple, but I'm going to show you how to do that. And I don't even use stabilizer. This is the back side. I didn't use any stabilizers. So we're going to go over all of that. What I'm actually going to do is I have a recipe from my mother-in-law. This is her handwritten recipe for peanut butter cookies. And I'm going to take this and, get it all set up and we'll stitch it out. So I think that could be kind of fun. So what do you guys think? Think of that. It's a lot coming up and there's some other stuff too coming up. I can't really tell you about it now, but, just stay tuned and be sure that you like and follow Embroidery Garden's Facebook page because everything gets announced there. One other thing that I forgot to tell you about, on May 11th, I'm hosting the Designs and Machine Embroidery Quilt As You Go virtual event. It's a free event. You just have to register for it. And it's a shop and learn event. And what this event goes over is Quilt As You Go. So this is a little block that I made from, the event. You actually get this little block free when you attend the event. And as you can see, this is kind of a log cabin. Here's the center. Then you start adding pieces onto the sides and the bottoms and just continue all the way around. And then it is quilted in the hoop. I know you can see that flower right there, but there's also quilting over here in this light blue area, and there's quilting in the dark blue area. Then they're going to tell you, give you ideas on how you can join all your little blocks once they've all been quilted. So it's informative. You get to shop for products. There's software associated with this to make it very easy. So don't forget May 11th. And the link actually to register for this, if you go to embroiderygarden.com, there's like 3 sliding banners that go across the top of the page. It's one of those banners. You can just click on it and then register. All right, so got that done. Remember to look at that list of links. So let's get on to our purse that we're going to do. Thank you, Toby. Dawn loves quilting in the hoop. It's just great. Sometimes I get lost in the comments, but so let's talk about the purse that we're going to do. It is my Patty Jo bag, and I'm going to go ahead and switch my camera so we can get a closer look at it. So this is the Patty Jo. The set has a 5x7, a 6x10. That's the size I'm going to be doing today. A 7x12, an 8x12, and a 9.5x14. So you get all the sizes in the set. Remember, it is on sale until the 29th at midnight central. But let's just take a look at the bag and see the features that it has. There are 2 zippers in this bag. This bottom zipper, it's going to open up, fully lined, of course, and it goes from the zipper down to the bottom. The front of the bag has a little bit of quilting on it. The second zipper, it goes from the top all the way down to the bottom on the inside. Of course, again, fully lined, no raw edges. This bag also has an open pocket on the front. Fully lined, no raw edges. We have little straps for tabs to add a strap to it. And, this is the bag. But on the bag that I'm doing today, I'm going to use foam. And on this one, I used just batting. And you can see it's very soft. So we're going to see how the bag that I'm doing today with the foam turns out. Okay. And we're going to go over that foam too in just a second. Couple other things I want to tell you before we actually do get started. I just uploaded a new design on Embroidery Garden's Facebook website yesterday. It's this cute little coffee buzz mug rug. I put it inside this tray. These trays come from Dollar Tree, and it is just really cute. It's on sale now. It's on the website. Coffee buzz mug rug. It's got a envelope style back to it, but it's just really cute. And I don't know how long it's going to be on sale for, but it is on the site right now. And something that's probably going to be coming, I'm hoping tomorrow to get it uploaded. I've got a new little 8x8 hang, and this one is honeybees and sunflowers. This one has, let me see if I can get you to see it, fringed flowers. See them stand up there? Kind of cute, kind of different little fringe flowers. And there are mitered corners that you do in the hoop on this. So look for this to be announced probably tomorrow. Again, that's why you need to be following and liking Embroidery Garden's Facebook page so you get notices of all this stuff. Everything gets posted there. I post it in my newsletter too, but I just sent out a newsletter, so I probably won't send out another one, maybe like next week. Carolyn loves the fringe flowers. I do too. They're just really fun to do, something different. Hi, Carrie. Thanks for joining me. Lynn, you love the bee banner and the sunflowers. Yeah, that's fun. Bees are just so fun for some reason. So let me first talk about the foam that I'm going to be using today. It's Sew Any Shape foam, and this is from Dime, or Designs and Machine Embroidery. I started using this foam, I don't know, it's been maybe about 6 months now. I love this stuff. I've started to experiment with it and use it for so many different things. So let's take a little bit closer look at it. This is what I'm going to use in my bag today. So this foam is designed for machine embroidery. Here's a little piece of it out of the package. You can see, you see about how wide it is. This is not fusible. I do not like the fusible foam. It just seems like every time you use it, you can't get those wrinkles out no matter what after you've turned something. So I don't like it to be fusible. It has this really soft, it's like a tricot lining on both sides. Very, very easy to stitch through. And it adds just the amount of, loft or dimension that you want in your projects. So this is what I'm going to be using today. It's from Designs and Machine Embroidery, or Dime. And, you'll see how you're going to be, using this. So let me move it. I see questions coming through. Debbie, any of my bags can have an adjustable strap. And that's what I'm going to show you on my May tip on May the 2nd, is how to make an adjustable strap. And you can add it to any of my bags. Sharon wants to see how we use the foam. Yeah, there's going to be a couple of different things that you might want to know about this foam and how to use it. I did see someone mention my jacket behind me. Yeah, I've done this jacket. I used my hand-sketched floral collection on it. I'm talking with someone about collaborating on doing a class or maybe an event, something on embroidering a jean jacket. Jean jackets are a little bit different to do. You can't hoop them really because the denim is thick. You have all those seams all over. But, it'd be, an event that would show you how I laid this all out, how I got the designs placed, tricky placement. I've got embroidery on the front of it. There's some going down the placket. Let me just show you because I know somebody's going to ask. So this is the back. And again, this is my hand sketch florals. These designs were enlarged and, go over all of that stuff. There is metallic thread in here. There's regular thread. This is Caesar HTV vinyl. On the front, I added, I took the flower. I took it from this big and I shrunk it down to this size, and it still stitches beautifully. I put those down the placket. I know it's a little hard to see. These are from my border collection that coordinates. All this is tricky placement because of these seams that you have. I embroidered on the cuff. You can see that. So, this is something that, again, I'm talking with a friend about doing. And so stay tuned. Watch Embroidery Garden's Facebook page for all these announcements. Let's get back to the bag. And let me go to the table. So let's look at our kit that we need. So this is the one I'm going to be doing today. These are the fabrics that I'm going to be using. First, let me just kind of move my kit off of the top here. I'm using just the cutaway, no-show type of mesh. Of course, I'm going to be using a hoop and press pad. And you're going to see this in action. And you're going to see how this is very, very helpful in this design, because not only are we going to work on the front of the hoop on this design and work on the back of the hoop, we're going to go through the hoop on this design. So be watching for that. I've got all of the pieces from my kit labeled with my project tags from Laser Bee. So this is Laser Bee Studio's little project tags. I love these things. This pattern, the Patty Joe, goes up to letter N. If you guys are familiar with my designs, you know I use a lettering system, and I have for many, many years. And so what you do is you take these little, here, I have this package open. Let me just grab one out of here. So these have dry erase board on the front. They have a little clip to clip them onto your pieces. So if I, am doing my designs and I cut out a bunch of letter A's, I can write A on here, B. You can see how I've done that with all these pieces. What I love about these is you wipe them off and use them again. Some patterns you use are numbers. So all you have to do, is wipe it off, and you can put, this is number 1 or it's number, 2, whatever. So, they're very versatile. Also, what I have found that I love these little tags for, I don't know how many of you are, garment sewers. Garment sewing for me, are really pajama pants, pajama shorts, okay? But, if you make any kind of like pants or, really any garment sewing, a lot of the pieces are similar. Like on pajama pants, the front and the back piece is very similar. So when I cut out a bunch of them, I take these little tags and I write front or I write back, and then I clip them on all of my front pieces I have, and I clip them on all of my back pieces I have. It keeps them in order. Now, if I'm doing a lot of pajama pants for, say, the whole family, you're going to have multiple sizes. So maybe I'll write on there medium front, large back, and keep them clipped on there, because sometimes when I do things like that, I like to chain sew, like do the first step of all the pajama pants at one time, and it keeps everything in order. So these are really nice. It's great that you can wipe them off and use them again for anything that you want to. So they are from laserbeestudio.com. They're my friends Sharon and Kelly, and you can use these for many things. They also have a lot of other great products on their website too. So I've got all of my pieces labeled. Again, this is coming A through N. So these are a lot of pieces. I've got my strap made already. We're using 2 zippers. So I have my 2 zippers. I've got my tabs to hold my strap onto the bag. On this one, I chose to use cork only because I thought that it matched this fabric well. And I don't know, I just wanted something different. So I've got my tabs made. I'm going to put them here in my little tray I have over here so I don't lose them. Let's move the strap out of the way because I won't need that until later. That strap is adjustable. And again, that's May 2nd. I'll show you how to do that. So I have all of my pieces. On this particular bag, my fabrics are kind of very similar. And had I, thought I might have used more contrasting fabric. Carrie says marking the sleeve front and back area of the sleeve. That is a great way to use these little clips because, you can sew your sleeve in backwards. But on this today, the fabric with the little circles is going to be my lining. And then this fabric with these florals and leaves, that's going to be my fronts or my main fabrics. So I have them all labeled. I also have you can use batting, but today we're using foam. So I got my foam pieces cut and everything. So I got everything all in a nice pile. And for right now, I'm just going to set this off to the side. And I've already stitched the first step of the design. Linda's asking where I get my zippers from. Most of the time I get them from Sally Tomato. They come in number 5s and number 3s. In this, I'm using a number 3 zipper. This is a batik, Carrie. I love batiks. So the first step that stitches are placement lines. And it's stitching both zipper placement lines at once. This is where we're going to place the first zipper right here between these 2 lines. And I just wrote, this is just writing with a pen, zipper 1, so you can see. These 2 placement lines are where we're going to place zipper 2. This line is a cut line that's going to be used later on. But I want you to be able to see where we're placing zipper 1 and where later on we will place zipper 2. And that's why I just hand wrote that in there so you get that visual. So that's step 1. The next step is to place your first zipper. And I'm placing it right side up. I'm putting the pull over to the left-hand side. It's going to go between those 2 lines. I'm going to get tape. And let me just make sure I got it lined up. And I'm going to tape one end down. And I'm going to grab another piece of tape, and I'm going to tape this other end over here down. Again, the whole thing is to make sure the edges of the zipper are lined up with that placement line. And let me just get that tape down. The pull, I like to put a little piece of tape on that pull and just kind of get it taped out of the way for now, because as I'm moving this hoop around, I don't want the pull to jump around and possibly come over here in my line of stitching. So that zipper's in place. Our next step is to stitch it down. So let's go to the machine. Get the hoop on, and this step is going to stitch that zipper in place so we don't have to worry about it moving or anything. This design is really easy to stitch. The actual stitch out of it is only 7 minutes, but there are a lot of pieces to the design. And I'm going to be looking at some questions. Norma, yeah, use Post-its for labels on things. Yeah, well, these little tags from Laser Bee are just perfect. Jan, the stabilizer I'm using is a no-show cutaway, call it poly mesh. That's what I use for the majority of my bags. Let's go back to the table. You can see that this is stitched down. So I'm going to pull this tape off real quick because I don't need it anymore, because that stitching stitched my zipper down in place. And let's get that off of there. I have thread tails that came out. So let me get those off. So now the zipper is stitched down. First step of this design, when we go to the back side, or we're going to work on the back side. So, of course, I'm going to use my hoop and press pad. What are hoop and press pads? They are pads that I invented and that Dime, or Designs and Machine Embroidery, manufactures for me. They are wool pads that fit into the inside of your hoop. They have a non-slip surface on the back, so when you're working on them, they don't move. They come in different bundles. This is for standard machines. Now, basically, these are for Brother Baby Lock at this time. The bundle, you get the 5x7, 6x10, 8x8, and 8x12 in this bundle, or you can buy any of those sizes individually. We recently, within the last maybe 4 months or so, came out with the hoop and press pad for multi-needle machines. You have the 5x7, 8x8, and 8x12. I know that, the multi-needle machines, the hoop is 8x14, but this pad works perfectly in that hoop. There wasn't really a need to justify adding another, inch to each side. So this is the multi-needle bundle. It's only sold as a bundle. And then for you Bernina people, you have the oval hoop. So we have the oval bundle. And this one, you get the 145 by 255, the 210 by 400, and the 265 by 165 pads in it. So not only do hoop and press pads aid you in doing in the hoop designs, but they also are great for removing stitches to add support and for doing applique. So, let's just kind of see how it works. So we have to work on the back side of the hoop. So I'm going to place my hoop upside down over the hoop and press pad. Now I have support underneath here, and I can easily tape things on. I can fold fabrics. It's great for pressing. We're going to be doing that here in a few minutes. We're going to be pressing. Elaine, we're hoping to get, other machines out, pads for other machines out soon. I see a lot of you saying you love your hoop and press pads. I know you guys are loving them as much as I do. I'm actually expecting another shipment in this afternoon. So the first thing to do is to take piece A, which is basically our lining. And I don't think I mentioned this before I started, but let me just show you this. So you use two fabrics in the bag, lining, and this one happens to be my orange. But you notice you're going to see the lining on the front of the bag. So on the design, you have lining pieces and main pieces. The lining is going to show here and here, the lining fabric you choose. It's also going to be on the inside of both the pockets. But when you choose a lining, know that it's going to show in this area and here on the front of the bag when it's finished. So I'm going to take my lining piece, I'm going to take the short edge, and I'm going to line it up with the bottom edge of the zipper. I'm going to get it in place, get my tape. I'm going to tape it down. So with the hoop and press pad, no matter what tape you use, it's not going to work if you can't press it down really well. So you can see I can press this down as hard as I can with that hoop and press pad underneath. So I get that pressed down. Now I go to the front side of the hoop. I take piece B, which is a main piece of fabric, taking off my little tags as I go. And this is going to go right side down with one of the edges, even with the bottom edge of the zipper. Now, all of my designs come with, complete detailed instructions. Let me get this one taped down to the edge of that zipper. Get that tape. I see people asking about using vinyl and cork on this bag. No, I don't recommend that because of you're going to see how all these folds are going along and stuff. So I don't really recommend that. I'm going to put this on the machine now, and it's going to stitch that lining and that piece I put on the top to the edge of the zipper. Okay, and I see some people like a Facebook user typing in #garden. You're going to have to give StreamYard permission to use your name, because remember, someone who comes up as Facebook user is not going to be able to win the giveaway. The tape I'm using, I use let me change the camera. I use Transport medical tape. This is the best tape there is. I absolutely love the tape. Good morning, Stephanie. Thanks for joining me. What I do is it's 1 inch wide tape. I've got tape over here already pulled off the roll, and then I take it and I tear it. This is perforated tape. It tears very easily and it holds extremely well. This is what you need to have when you do in the hoop designs. This is the tape that I've been talking about for years and years. It's the absolute best tape there is. So this step has stitched here. I know it's hard to see, but it did stitch a line here, and it stitched these fabrics down to the edge of the zipper. So let me get that tape off. Take your tape off as you use as you use it because, you know, you don't need it on there anymore if the pieces get stitched down. So all it's doing is maybe getting sewn into your project, so you might as well take it off. So now I'm using the piece of foam. Again, you could use batting if you want, but we're going to see the type of dimension and structure that this foam is going to give this bag when it's finished. So this is piece C. Take my little clip off. And it's going to get lined up the edge with the seam that just stitched. So I'm going to line it up. And you're going to pull this fabric down over. Here's a little tip too. A lot of times, you know, this foam, it's a little slippery. So this is what I like to do. I like to take a glue stick. It's just one of those Elmer glue sticks kids use in school. And this one's a little messy at the top here, but this type of glue, it doesn't hurt your machine. It doesn't do anything. It's a washable glue. All I'm going to do is just kind of put a little bit of it down here, kind of goop that up a little bit, but I'm just going to put a little bit of it there. And what this is going to do is it's going to hold this foam in place for me so that it doesn't slide all over. Okay, so, and that's just something I like to do. I'm going to take this top piece, fold it down. Then I'm trying to fold it down and make a nice little crisp seam here. I've got my hoop and press pad under there. So I'm just going to take my iron and I'm going to press it. And the only reason I'm pressing it is to get a nice little fold there. When I use the foam, since it is a little bit thicker, what I like to do is instead of taping, I like to pin. Okay, so I'm going to just at the very bottom, I'm at the very, very bottom of my hoop, and I'm just going to pin it down. Again, I like to do this because it keeps everything nice and tight, and it's not going to let that foam or anything slip. I am going to watch my pins so that I know that I don't, run into one. And I see that Janice is saying she had a hoop larger than 5x7. Well, Janet, this file comes in 5x7. So you can stitch out the Patty Jo purse. The next step that's going to stitch, it's going to stitch a line underneath here. Then the next step is going to do our quilting. And it's just sort of a wave quilting. So let's get it on the machine, get it ready to start going. This piece on the back side of the hoop, it's still up there. I didn't move it yet or do anything with it. So let's let it stitch that line. And what that line is going to do, it's going to hold that fabric and batting down really nicely. And then it's going to go and do the quilting. Okay, so let me look over here and see questions. And I do see people typing in #garden. That will be, the giveaway will happen later on. The next step the machine is going to do, I have to press a start. It's going to do the quilting, okay? Linda, if you're talking about this bag that I'm stitching right now, it's going to be on sale until midnight the 29th. The other bag that I showed, the Monroe bag, let me grab it. Again, it fell on the floor. The Monroe bag is going off sale tonight. This is a brand new bag, 6x10 hoop that I demoed with All Brands last week. So this one ends tonight, the sale price on it. Good morning, Sharon from Texas. There is not a file for card slots on this particular bag. That would require, a whole new file to be created. So I don't have that on here. Let's see, I'm just looking through the comments right now. Make sure if you have any other questions you want answered to get those in. Also, look for that list that I put out on Embroidery Garden's Facebook page that I put in my In the Hoop Facebook group. And that is at the bottom of the video. If you're watching it on YouTube, links to everything, to all the events that I talked about at the beginning and to all of the products I am using. The links are all there that you need. I'm not sure what you're referring to, Melissa, when you say, does it only come in a 6x10 hoop? If you missed the beginning, I showed all the Patty Joe bags. The one I'm stitching today, it's a 5x7, 6x10, 7x12, 8x12, 9.5x14, all come in the set. And Renee is asking the name of the bag that the sale ends tonight. That is the Monroe bag. That's the one. 6x10 is the only size it comes in. It has the open top under the flap, and it has the zippered pocket. So this is the Monroe. You go to embroiderygarn.com. It's right there on the front page of the website. Are both purses the same size? The one I'm stitching today is a 6x10, and the Monroe is only offered in 6x10, but the one I'm stitching right now, it has those 5 different sizes in it. So let's look at this under the camera so you get a little bit better view. Right now, it might be a little bit harder for you to see the dimension that foam made, but you're definitely going to see it when the bag is done and all the structure. Right, Melissa, the Monroe only comes in 6x10. Lisa, you might be, to get the design on the Monroe bag, what are the requirements? It is the hand sketch floral collection. I just took it and I edited that flower here on the front. Within the hand sketch florals, there are 25 designs for a 5x7 hoop. There was a flower over here I removed. There were some curly things over here and down here that I removed. I've talked about how easy it is to do that with this design set in some other lives. Let's go on and keep going on with the bag here. The Monroe bag in clear vinyl. I don't know, Janet. A lot of times I think if you want to take a bag and do it in vinyl, it really needs to be digitized for that, because I wouldn't want to see like the backside of the zipper and other things in the clear vinyl. So that might need to be something that's, I'm just saying, I don't know if I would really like it in clear vinyl. So I'm going to use my hoop and press pad again because I need to work on the backside of the hoop. And the next step, I can take this tape off because this piece is stitched down. Oh, my tape got stuck right here. Let me get that off. And the next step is to take this lining fabric and fold it down. Great time for the hoop and press pad and to press. And this is why I press while doing in the hoop designs, because I can take my iron and I can get a nice crisp press here on this lining piece. You can see how nice and flat it lays by ironing. And with the hoop and press pad underneath, I can iron it very easily. I am going to tape this piece down at the bottom just to make sure that it doesn't move. And now that I have that done, we're going to go back to the front side of the hoop. So that piece on the back is now down. Whoops, sorry, forgot a step here. See, I start talking and I will forget some things. So we need piece D. We're still on the back side. And I'm going to take piece D and I'm going to place it right side down. And this time I'm going to have the edge even with the top edge of that zipper. So let me get it in place. Use my tape, hoop and press pads underneath there so I can press down really hard to make sure my tape stays holding this fabric down. Now I'm ready to go to the front side of the hoop. So on the front side, I want to take piece E, which is another lining fabric. You could tell because it's got the dots. And just to give you a visual, piece E, this piece I'm going to place now, is what's going to form the top edge of the open pocket. So I'm going to place it with one short edge, right side down, even with the top edge of the zipper. Let me get that in place. And I'm going to tape it down because I don't want this to move. Nancy is asking, where do you get the hoop and press pads? Embroiderygarden.com. Go to embroiderygarden.com, my website, and you're going to see them right there on the front page. There's going to be a link and just click on it. It's going to take you to all of the different sizes and things that we have. Linda, we're going to get to trimming away from the zipper a little bit later on, but now I have the piece on the back and I have this piece on the front. This was piece E, and now we're going to stitch these two pieces on right there. So let me get this on the machine. And you know what is great about pressing things on the back side of the hoop? When you press something down on the back side of the hoop, it really helps it to lay nice and flat. So sometimes I've been doing designs without even taping them on the back side because it's pressed down so nicely, it's not really moving on me. Let's see. Can this bag be done in leather? No, I don't recommend this one being done in leather. And the iron that I'm using, let's just kind of look at that for 1 second. Right now, I'm just using this. It's the Cricut mini iron is the one that I'm using. And the only reason I'm using it is because I'm in a tight space right here. Most of the time, I'm using my big, my regular iron, my big regular iron. So now that this is stitched down, I could take this tape off because I don't need it, because this piece is already stitched on. So remember, yeah, get your tape off anytime because you don't need your tape if something is already stitched down. Now I'm going to use another piece of foam, and this is F. See how handy these little tags are, and they just clip right on. Oh, looks like I got this piece kind of really wide for some reason. I must not have cut the length. So let me just kind of trim this down because I don't need it to be that wide. And it's going to go right on that edge. It's going to line up with that stitch line. And you know what? I am going to go ahead and I'm going to use just a little bit of the Elmer's glue, the glue stick again, because this is just a small little area. So let me just put just a little bit on the foam. You can see I just put a little bit. It's just to hold it down so it doesn't really move on me. Line that edge up. And now I'm going to take this piece and I'm going to fold it up. And I'm just folding it up there for right now. And I'm going to take my iron. I've got my hoop and press pad underneath there so I can iron. Because this right here, this purple showing, this is my cutting mat. So I don't want to be, ironing on that. Let me press that. And we are going to put it on the machine. And the next step is just going to stitch a line right here. And what that's going to do, it's going to hold that foam in place and the fabric in place. So let me just get everything over here to my machine and get it set up to stitch that little line. And just making sure everything is in place here before I get the hoop on. And I accidentally unthreaded my machine. So I'll let you see what I'm doing. I accidentally, my machine came unthreaded. So let me get that thread back in the needle and stitch the next step, which is just stitching a line going across there. And let's see, I'm looking, see if there's any more comments, questions I can answer right now while that's stitching. Okay, now this next step is the step, remember I said we work on the front side, we work on the back side, and we're gonna go through the hoop. So this is an important time to pay attention. Let's go back to the table. I'm gonna move my hoop and press pad out of the way so that my hoop now is sitting on my cutting table. Let's see. Facebook user wants to know, how did I clip the plastic cards to my clips? These are wooden. These are actually wood with dry erase board on. They come like this. Let me grab my package here I was showing earlier. They come like this. They come with the marker, the dry erase marker. It's from laserbstudio.com. Very, very handy to have. My zippers are number 3s. I'm using number 3s. I use zipper by the yard, so I just cut the length that I need. So this next step, if you've done any of my designs, I have, gosh, I don't know how many offhand. Right now, I'll just say half a dozen that we go through the hoop, that we take our fabric and we put it through the hoop. And this is one of those designs. So I got to move this kind of out of the way, because what we're going to do, remember this line right here? We had our zipper placement 1, zipper placement 2, and this line here. We're going to cut on that line. And handy to have is my embroidery garden acrylic ruler. I sell these on my website. They're 2.5 by 6.5 inches, and they fit in the hoop. That's what's great about them. Let me grab my rotary cutter. I'm going to have to get up and go over to my big cutting table because I forgot to bring it over here. I was working on something else last night. So let me grab my cutter. And we are actually going to cut through the stabilizer. So let me move this, and I'm placing my ruler right on that line. See, there's the line. I'm placing the edge of the ruler there. I saw a question come through. The needle I'm using a 7511. Just because I'm using the foam, I'm not changing my needle. So I'm going to cut right on that line, that stitched line. Now, when I'm cutting, I can't really get all the way to the edge, right? So now that I've cut the line, I've cut on the line. Whoops, I didn't get that all the way cut on here. And now that I've cut on the line, I'm going to have to take my scissors because I need to go all the way to the edge of the hoop. So see, I went all the way to the edge of the hoop there, and let me come over here. I need to turn my hoop upside down. It's easier for me to cut that way. I need to go all the way to the edge of the hoop there. So now we have a slit cut in our stabilizer. You want to be very careful. You don't want to be pushing on your stabilizer because that's going to make your stabilizer more unstable. So let me get ready here to do the next step. And the next step, I want to check everything here to make sure everything is good. I can see right here my foam slipped a little bit. That's okay. But I do want my foam to be even with that line. And that's why I glued it down, but I don't think I got glue over there. So it slipped a little bit on me. So that's the only reason I trimmed off some, was because my foam slipped a little bit. So now the next step is to take this piece that we had folded down on the front, and we are going to take it and put it through this slit. And then let me turn my hoop over to the back side so I can grab it and pull it this way. And this is why you want your stabilizer cut the edge of the hoop on both sides. You can see it bunching here a little bit. I didn't get it trimmed all the way to the side. Okay, now my fabric isn't bunching on the edge. And this is where you want to be careful. One thing too, my tape is still left here. I want to get that off because I don't want tape stuck on the inside of my bag. So let me get that off. Let me get the piece off over here. Now I want to use my hoop and press pad definitely here. So let's get the hoop and press pad underneath. Remove all this stuff out of the way. get the hoop and press pad, put over here, because after this goes through the slit, we're going to take this fabric and we're going to fold it down. I don't want to pull on it. I want it to fold even with that piece of foam there. So I'm getting it all nicely lined up. And now I want to take my iron, and I definitely want to press here. Somebody's asking about a replay being available. You can rewatch this on Embroidery Garden's Facebook page or on Embroidery Garden's YouTube channel. All right, so this was brought down. It's been pressed. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put a little piece of tape down here at the bottom to make sure it stays in place. Remember when I folded it through, I didn't pull on it tight. I wanted to fold where it naturally is going to fold. Barbara is asking, do I ever do in-person classes? Oh, I did them for almost a little over 5 years. I did them. Then, COVID came along and I stopped doing them. And what I like to do is I'm enjoying doing these lives for you. Around to it is asking if the giveaway is open to Canadians. Yeah, it's a gift certificate. It's digital. So yes, you just have to type in #garden like it shows up in the upper left corner of your screen. Thank you, Janice. I really appreciate that. So the next step now that's going to stitch, it's going to stitch a line right along this fold here. Maybe you can see it a little bit better on my sample bag. See that line? It's going to stitch. And what that does is helps to make this fold for this pocket just be a little bit more stronger. So let's get it back on the machine. And again, it's just going to stitch a line. Let me get my hoop over here. It's just going to stitch a line right there at the top of that fold, just to make it a little bit stronger there. The machine went to sleep. All right, so it's going to stitch along there. Remember, if you are coming up as Facebook user and you do #garden, you don't get entered. You have to give StreamYard permission to use your name. No one with the Facebook user as a name will be able to win the gift certificate. All right, so that's stitched. And the next step we're going to do is we got to get the second zipper put in. So this design was digitized in a way, since we have this cut here now, right? Remember, there's our slit and our stabilizer. So the way that this has been designed is now we don't ever want to cross over that slit because we don't ever want our foot to get caught in there. So, I've done certain things I've created this design in certain steps. And it's very important for you to follow those steps. And it's very important that you never, ever take an in the hoop design and color sort it. Okay. Different colors used in the hoop designs are mainly used to make the machine stop. So you can do things like, press the fabric, to fold it down, to place zippers and things, but don't ever color sort in the hoop designs. So I'm taking my second zipper, right side up again, pull to the left. But you know what? I've done bags with 2 zippers where I switch the direction of the zipper. That's just, aesthetics. Maybe you like that look or whatever, but I am going to make this one be the same direction. So I got that zipper in place, get it taped down. Again, you want it in between those 2 lines. Make sure that it is in between the 2 lines. Put another piece of tape on here. And this next step will stitch this zipper down along both long edges so that we don't have to worry about it moving or anything. So I'm going to get this put on the machine, let it stitch that zipper down. Get a look at it there. Okay, so let's look and see if there's my skinny tape. It's not really skinny tape, Janice. It is the 3M tape. It's 1 inch wide. This tape here, I got more on here. Let me see if I can't get it started here, find the end of it. So you can see it's 1 inch wide. What I do is I tear off a little bit of length of it, and then it's perforated, so it tears extremely easily. And now I have 3 pieces of tape out of that one. Again, this is the best tape ever, ever, ever. I never use blue painter's tape. I never use paper tape. I use this 3M tape. Once you try it, I don't think you would use anything else. Let's go back now. It stitched the zipper down. So I'm going to get this tape off here real quick because the zipper's already stitched down. I'm going to save that piece of tape too. I'm just sticking it over here at the edge of my mat. I am going to take this piece. I'll tear it in half because, again, I want to keep the zipper pull, kind of make sure it stays out of my way. All right, so now the next step is to go to the back side of the hoop. So what I want to do is use my hoop and press pad again, place it down, turn my hoop to the back side, get it laid over top of the hoop and press pad. Hoop and press pads are on sale. And again, like I said, I'm expecting another shipment is coming today, so I'll be really stocked up. The next step is to take piece G. Here's G. And you place it right side down. And this time the edge goes even with the bottom edge of the zipper here. Of course, I'm going to tape that down. Don't want it moving on me. All right, and we're going to go to the front side of the hoop. And I'm going to take piece H. Get my clip off. And I'm going to place it right side down with the edge, the short edge here, even with the bottom edge of the zipper. So even though this design has a lot of steps, you can see it's pretty easy to sew. You get that tape down. The next step is going to stitch that piece of fabric on the back side and this piece that I'm adding to the front side along the zipper right here. Kathy, I can stitch through the tape. It does not gum up my needle. What I want to do, though, what my goal is to do, the goal is not to stitch through any tape, no matter what kind it is, if you don't have to. So I try to keep it out of the stitch line. But if I do happen to get it in there and it stitches, through it, I don't have any problem with it gumming up my needle or anything like that. But that's what I like about the tape too, that it tears so nicely that I can use the real skinny pieces to hold fabric on. Yolande says, they have so many of my designs. Thank you. I really, really appreciate that. And Stephanie, thank you for the great instructions. I appreciate that too. Okay, so it just stitched the 2 pieces of fabric onto that second zipper. So let's see what it looks like now. Let me get the hoop off the machine. Bring it back over. I can get this tape off because, again, I don't need this. It stitched it down, and I can use that piece of tape. What I'm doing is I'm just kind of taping it onto the edge of my table here to reuse those pieces. So the next step now is to take this piece, and we're going to fold it down. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold it down. I got my hoop and press pad underneath there. I'm going to take my iron and quickly press that. Let's see. There's a question. Is there a code to get sale prices on the press pads? Don't need it. They're on sale already. So I press that just to make a nice little seam there. But I'm going to take this piece and I'm going to put the end of it through this slit. Let me get it started and get it through there. Just grab it and I'm going to pull it to the back side. I want to be careful too because I don't, I've got a slit cut in my stabilizer. And let me get it to the back and let's turn it over and look at it. So this is the piece that came through that slit that I just stitched on. We want everything nice and flat. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to, whoops, can't see this. I'm going to tape it down here at the bottom. Keep it taped down. All right, now I'm going to take this tape off on here on the back side because I don't need it on because this piece up here is stitched down. And let's just kind of, let's look at the front side here. So you can see how this is coming along, right? Here's our pocket in the front. Let's grab our finished one. Let me zip that up here. So this is how it's coming along. Here's that. It's going to make this front open pocket on our finished sample. That's this piece here. This piece that's behind it is this piece here that actually forms the inside back of the open pocket. The next step that's going to stitch, it's going to stitch a line right here. This holds the fabric down and mimics these other two lines that got stitched. So let me go ahead and get this put on the machine. And it's going to stitch that next step. So it's going together very, nicely. You can kind of get the idea of why I made it so that you have to cut through the stabilizer to manipulate fabric through there. Otherwise, let me grab the sample here again. You would have to cut on the other purse. You would have to do this like in 2 hoopings, possibly even 3. But with my technique of going through the stabilizer, I can do this whole thing with 2 zippers and an open front pocket in 1 hooping. And that's my goal. My goal is to keep everything in 1 hoop if I can. So that just got done stitching. Let's go back to the table and get the hoop off. And I see a question, where did I get the fabric? This fabric just came from Joann's. It's some of their boutiques. This one just came from Joann's. All right, so the next step after we just now stitch this line here, we're going to go to the back side of the hoop again. So of course I want my hoop and press pad. Put this over the hoop and press pad. I'm going to now take this piece here and fold it down. And I'm going to press again. It's so important to press as you do in the hoop designs. If you were sewing this, like, a sewing pattern on your sewing machine, you would stop and you would press. So why not do the same thing when you do in the hoop designs? Why not press as you go? And that's what you need to be doing. Going to take another piece of tape just to hold that down to make sure it doesn't move. While we're on the back side, we're going to grab our piece I. I'm going to take off my little clip, right side down, and I'm going to place the edge even with the top edge of the zipper. Again, tape it down. I'm going to just use a couple of small pieces of tape. With my hoop and press pad underneath, I press down really hard to make sure that tape adheres. Don't you hate when you tape something on and as soon as you turn it over, it falls off? And that's because you're not able to press it down really hard on the back side of the hoop, but with the hoop and press pad, you certainly can. So now it's time to grab my next piece, which is J. And I'm going to place it right side down with the long edge, even with the top edge of the zipper. We're getting close to getting this bag finished. I know this is probably one of my longer demos, but I really wanted to show this bag. I know a lot of people have it. A lot of people like to stitch it. So the next step now is going to stitch here, and it's stitching that fabric I put on the back side and the fabric I just put on the top side to the edge of the zipper. So let me give you a look at that. Whoops, I got to press go. Polly is asking, can you box the bottom corners like you did in the zipper bags? You can. You would just have to kind of follow that video, that demo that I did. Let's see. Renee, that's why she likes the hoop and press pads. Yes, because And they're also good, like I said, for appliques, because you want to press appliques from the back. And I think that I've done some demos on that. Let's see, whoops, the hoop and press pads are a must have. It makes it so easy without the risk of shifting your stabilizer out of position. That's exactly right. And that is why I developed them, because when I taught and traveled around and we would be in class doing designs, I would see people on the backside of the hoop literally pressing so hard that they're pressing their stabilizer down to the table. And then their designs are shifting and they're wondering why. So that's why I came up with hoop and press pads. And I saw one more question before I go on. Do the instructions specify the type of stabilizer? Yeah, I put that in my instructions. This is, just no show mesh cutaway. And one more before I go on. The markers, where did the markers with the clips come from? They come from laserbstudio.com. They are dry erase. So when I'm done with this, I can rip that off and say I have a pattern now that has, letters. I'm sorry, numbers. I can put number 2 on that. Like I said earlier too, if I was doing pajama pants or Carrie mentioned sleeves, I can write front on it so I don't get my pieces all mixed up. They are the handiest things to have. Janet, you need hoop and press pads? Yes, you do. Everyone needs some. All right, so now that I have this done, let's take the tape off because this piece got stitched down. And I'm going to put my next piece of foam on. So right now, all the foam that I've used, here's K, it's one piece. There's a piece under this area, there's a piece under here, and I'm going to put a piece under here. We're about ready to finish up the bag. So when I get the other piece of foam on, that's when we're going to get a little bit thicker, okay? And I'll give you some tips on doing that. I'm just going to put, again, a little bit of glue for my glue stick. That's just to hold this foam in place because it likes to move a little bit. It's a little bit slippery. Camille, I can see your name, so you are going to be entered in the giveaway. Remember, #garden. So this piece is placed, even with that seam line that just stitched. I'm going to take this top piece, fold it up, and of course, I'm going to press it. I want to get it nice and pressed down. The next step is going to, let me get that pressed a little bit nicer. The next step is going to stitch a line here, just like it did above and below every other zipper. Hi, Kelly. How are you? Thanks for joining me. Kelly, who is just posted here, him and his wife, Sharon, own Laser Bee Studio. And I'm trying to find it. Whoops. So that's Kelly. They are owners of Laser Bee Studio. They make the little labels. They make the storage thread system that I use. You can't see it today. Let me see if I can move my camera just a little bit. See that cabinet over there with all those labels on it? That's how I store my thread. And I plan on doing a tip, one of my Tuesday tips, all on that thread storage system a little bit later on in the year. Kelly, been watching the whole time. It wasn't showing your name. You had to give StreamYard permission to use your name. That's just something, and that only happens if you're watching from a group, just so you know. All right, so that got stitched. Let's look at it again. Just stitched a line right there. That was all that it did. So now we have to go to the back side of the hoop. Let me get this tape off of this piece. The next thing we're going to be doing is we're going to be getting our little tabs in for our strap. But first we have to take this fabric, fold it up. Of course, we're going to iron it. I've got my hoop and press pad underneath there. And you know, if you iron, you press your pieces like this, your linings are going to lay so much nicer when your project is done. And that's just not for Embroidery Garden in the hoop designs. You know, there are other in the hoop designers out there. You can use the pads on any designs. It's going to make your projects just turn out so much nicer. I see someone asking, The foam I'm using is this foam, Sew Any Shape foam from Dime. It's been specifically manufactured. Eileen Roche made it specifically for machine embroidery. I can iron this stuff. And I'm going to be showing you, that's going to be another Tuesday tip later on in the year about how I can iron so many different things with my iron and it doesn't affect it in any way. Remember, I have made a list of everything I've talked about today, every product I've used. The list with links, if you are watching on YouTube, is underneath the video. Click, I believe it says show more. That list will open up. I posted the list this morning on Embroidery Garden's Facebook page, and I posted it in my In the Hoop Facebook group. So the list to everything I'm using, the links too, are right there for you to grab. It's too hard for me to continually post, links while I'm trying to demo. I can see your name, Bob, so you are in the running for the gift certificate that I'll do at the end. Let's get back to the design here. This was folded up and pressed. And we're going to go to the front side. That piece is folded up. The next step is to stitch placement lines for me to stitch my tabs on. I got to know where to stitch them, so let me get this on here. Let me change the camera so you can just see it doing those little placement lines. Where did the name Patty Jo come from? So, Teresa, some of you who have followed me for a little while, I do tons of bag patterns, and, some of them have names like the hipster, the 2-zipper bag, whatever. And it gets very hard to come up with names. So I started naming my bags after people that have been in my life who have passed away. I have one named for my mother, my mother-in-law, my grandmother, and Patty Jo came from, I had a great friend named Patty Jo, passed away at like 49 from cancer. And that's where the name Patty Jo came from. I named one of my bags after her. So let's go back to the table. And I know it's very hard for you to see the placement lines. I don't think I have anything I can mark it with. So here, let me try to do this. I'm just going to stick a pin there for right now. It's just a little bitty teeny tiny line to show where I put my tabs. Okay, they're just small lines. Maybe I can, I don't know if it's going to focus. You might be able to see it at the end of that pin, but it's just tabs for, placements for my tabs. So now, but those have stitched, we need to go to the back side because we have to get access into our purse. So we have to trim out the zipper area right now. So behind this little strip of stabilizer is that top zipper. And I love to use these little Kai scissors. I like the curved tip on them. They're small, they're sharp. The link to these scissors is in the list that I have talked about. Debbie says, my instructions are always so clear. Thank you. I try to write instructions as if you are, a beginner, an absolute beginner. So all I did was I stuck the tip of my scissors down into the stabilizer. Hoop and press pad is great because it's giving you some support underneath here. So I don't have to take my scissors and go like this and stab them down into the stabilizer and possibly catch my zipper underneath here, because you don't want to cut your zipper. You're only cutting the stabilizer. So let me get my scissor back in here. And the stabilizer cuts so easily, I can actually take my scissors and just, what I'm doing is I'm just gliding them along, really. I'm not like clip, clip, clip. I'm just gliding them along. And I want to get this other edge here. So what this is doing again is it's giving me access into my purse. And I cut this at really the last amount of time that I have left in the design. I don't want to cut it early in the design, because if I do, it's making this area unstable. So I want to do it at the last possible minute I have. Sharon, yes, you can rewatch this again. It will be on Embroidery Garden's Facebook page and on YouTube. Remember, I have that other zipper under here. We're going to lift up our fabric until we find it. It's actually under the here it is. Oh, thank goodness. You have to lift up all of the pieces of fabric. Here is that zipper. Here's that strip. I thought for a second something happened. Okay, so let me just kind of make sure they're out of the way. Again, the zipper is underneath here. That it's actually the first zipper I put down. And again, I'm trimming that area out. Make sure you don't cut the zipper. That would be really bad. And you can see the zipper under there. So now I have access to that zipper. I want to take all these pieces of fabric and I'm going to fold them down one by one. Make sure they are laying nice and flat. You're not pulling anything. Getting them all back down. All right, so now that we've trimmed underneath there, it's time to place our little tabs so we can add our strap later on when it's done. The strap gets added when the bag is completely finished. So again, earlier, if you missed it, I made my little tabs out of cork fabric because I don't know, it matches. I thought it was cute. Didn't really want to make little tabs out of the same fabric. You have to put a D-ring or some type of hardware. There's triangle rings. There's other things you can use. I happen to like to use little D-rings. I'm going to take the side edge of my tab and place it even with this little mark here. Again, I know you can't see it, but I can. And I'm lining it up even there. I'm going to have some tape to put on that. I'm going to tape it way up here at the top. Going to get my second one in place. When I place it, the cut ends are, towards the top of the hoop. I'm going to place it even with that little mark. Get everything lined up. Put my piece of tape over here to hold it down in place. And the next step is actually going to come and stitch these down. One little thing I want to show you when it is stitching those down. Let me get switched over to the camera, or I'm sorry, the machine. Checking everything, making sure everything looks good on the back side. Now it's going to stitch down both of these. So what I like to do is it's going to stitch down one. And sometimes I like to stop my machine, hold my hand here as soon as it's done, because as it's done, when it gets done, it's going to jump over to the second one. Sometimes I like to stop my machine just to make sure, the foot didn't catch on anything as it jumped from this one to this one. So I'm good. And I'm going to let it stitch this one down. And all it's doing is just stitching over that tab just to keep it in place so it doesn't, nothing happens. Let's go back to the table. I don't need this tape up here. I'm just going to pull it off. Again, always remove your tape as you go along once something gets stitched down, because you don't want to have it get sewn into your project. Most important step, get both of these zippers unzipped. And remember, I taped down those tabs, the zipper ends, the little tabs, because I didn't want them flopping around. So let me get that tape off of there. And get my zipper unzipped halfway. I basically look at halfway as, here's the little notch in my hoop. So just undo it kind of halfway. Let me get the tape off of this pull and get it unzipped halfway. That's the biggest thing. So look how pretty the front of the bag is looking already. Notice I did not raise the foot for the tab. But now that we're going to be adding the next piece of fabric, which is piece L, putting it right side down, centering it over the entire front of the hoop. I'm going to take these pins out that I had down there. Remember when I was doing that quilting. So this is right side down, covers the entire front of the hoop. Now we're coming in with our next piece of foam, and it's going to get placed centered right on top. You know what I like to do a lot of times? When I'm doing something like this, I like to lift the hoop up and then I press with my hand. What I'm doing is I'm kind of judging the thickness of this. And, you know, I've done it so many times now, I can kind of judge what, if I need to raise my foot up or not. Remember, we have several layers of fabric. We've got the foam, you know, that we used for it's going to be on the front of the bag. And now this is foam for the back of the bag. Let me make sure I got what I need. This piece is right side down, front of the hoop. The foam is on top. The next step is going to just attach this on here at the top. So let me get it over to the machine and then I'll switch the camera view for you. Because I want you to look at this thickness. So you can determine, I'm going to move this up just a tiny bit. You can determine for yourself if you need to raise the foot up or not. Let's just start stitching. One way that you'll know if you need to raise your foot up is if you see kind of the foot dragging and maybe it's kind of rippling up the front of this foam. Mine seems to be doing very well, but before I finish the design, I am going to raise my foot up. I got one more piece of fabric to add, just one more, and then it's going to be done. So let's go back to the table. It just stitched it on up there at the top. We go to the back side. Marie, the sizes of fabric that you need are all in the instructions. I'm using a 6x10 hoop. So I'm following my instructions for the 6x10 size, which size to cut the fabrics. Last piece in. Let me get my little clip off. Remember, get those clips from laserbeestudio.com. That's LASERBEE studio.com. Last piece of fabric goes right side down, covers the back side of the hoop. Now, I'm not taping this piece down. I prefer to do, especially since I have this foam, is I like to pin. So I'm just kind of holding my piece that I put on the back side. I'm going to take pins and I'm going to go as far down as I can go and pin everything together. And one reason why I'm doing this is, again, we have a lot of layers and we have this foam and it is a little bit slippery, okay? And I don't want to have an issue, so that's why I'm pinning through everything. I'm making sure things are, let me just make sure everything looks good on the back. Let me hold this corner down, get my pin over here. When I'm stitching this, I'm going to be watching this to make sure I'm not hitting any pins. You definitely don't want to be looking away. Make sure that fabric is still nice on the back, nice and flat. And I'm going to pin up here at the very top. Just pin right here. And on the other side here at the top. And I'm catching that piece on the back too. I'll show you that before we sew it. Just so you can see that it is secured down there. I'm not just, you know, flying with this and letting it hope that it stays on. It is actually getting pinned in. All right, so here are my pins on the front, just pinned up here at the top. That one's probably going to be close. Let me go ahead and move that one because I know that one's going to be a little bit too close. Right, and you can see the piece on the back. It's nice and flat and it's been pinned down. So we're ready to stitch the last step of the design. Let me go to the machine. So at this point, Murtis, I am going to raise the height of my foot up. I have to do that in the settings of my machine. So I'm going to go to the settings. I've got embroidery foot height. I'm going to, you know, it's going to be moving the camera. What I'm trying to do is I want to just show you real quick. I went into my settings. Here's embroidery foot height. My default is 0.6. Let's go up to 0.1. I'm going to hit OK, and we're going to see how that's going to do. And let me just move this over, trying to move it over with the least amount of shaking. Okay, so now that I raised it, we're going to go ahead and start stitching. Now, times two, let's do this. Should have showed you this while I had it over there. With that foam, you might want to slow your machine down a little bit. You got to go in settings on my machine. Right now, I'm set at 800 stitches a minute. Let's drop that down to, let's say 500. I don't know if you can see that or not. Okay. I dropped it down to 500 stitches a minute. Okay. Come back over here. Now, you don't always have to drop down your speed, but I do, especially if I'm doing a live. And I'm going to be watching this. Again, I'm watching my pins. I'm watching to make sure my foot isn't dragging anywhere. What can you use in place of the foam, Sheila? Just batting. But I'm going to show you in the end here, the sample that I did with foam in it, or I'm sorry, with batting in it, just warm and natural. And this one with foam, and you're going to see a big difference in the structure and everything of the bag. And just make sure that it clears my pins here. Looks like I'm going to do fine. Another question. Is there a favorite size I like most if you're talking about a bag? Oh, it kind of depends. My largest bag that I do is for a 9.5 by 14 hoop. Even though I have the 10.5 by 16 hoop, I don't make a bag. To me, that's just too big. My favorite size, I kind of like a square 8 by 8 or 9.5 by 9.5, which I have in my in the hoop zipper bag set. Or, I do like 6 by 10, 7 by 12, 8 by 12. Yes, Esther, this is a digital download, and it is machine embroidery. It is an embroidery file. So now this is just going to come around that corner, and then it's going to be done. Susan, you can use Bosal. I have used it before, but personally, I much prefer this Sew-Any Shape foam. It is just fantastic. Now, you're going to notice the machine stopped. Again, I'm going to try to move the camera slowly so you can see this. There is one more step in the design. See where the cursor is on my screen? It shows an X. We do not stitch that step, and the machine, the instructions tell you why. If you stitch that step, all machines return to the center. Right now, we've got foam, we've got several layers of fabric. We have the zipper pulls are underneath here. Some machines don't even raise the foot. They keep the foot down. So I don't want this foot coming along here and scraping against that zipper pull. So it's kind of a safety feature. All right, so let's go back to the table. We are ready to take this baby out of the hoop. Let me get all the pins out. And I'm just going to pop it out of the hoop. Now, the first thing I like to do, take my scissors, and I'm going to trim this piece of foam, even with those stitches all the way around. The reason I do that is it's going to keep this bulk out of the seam line and out of these corners. I'm not going to worry about this other piece of foam in here. That it's just going to end up being like one layer, so that'll be fine. But look how nice this stuff cuts too. All I'm doing is I'm taking my scissors, getting it in this foam, and I'm just gliding them. See how close I got to that stitching? And again, it's going to keep the bulk out of your seam line and out of your corners. This up here at the top, I am close to my zipper tab ends are sticking up there, or I'm sorry, my strap ends are sticking up there. And so it's making that a little bit thicker. All right, so I'm actually going to save this because remember that little piece that I put on above where we're making that folded pocket? That would be perfect, and we'll work with that. So I'm saving that scrap. All right, so let's go to the back side and find our opening. And here it is down here at the bottom of the hoop. So when I get ready to trim, I want to leave it longer here at this opening because I need this fabric to turn in to hide it. And Debbie says she's always wondered about that last step, that X. Yeah, I explained that in my instructions, why it's there. And it is more of a safety feature. When you're designing for, all brands of machines, there are brands of machines out there that they will go to the center of the hoop and take a cinch. I know Viking does that. I never really understood why, but Viking does that. And if you're doing something with vinyl, it'll poke a hole in your vinyl. And what I'm doing now is I'm looking for, okay, I'm at the top of the purse. I thought I was at the bottom. I'll show you on the other side. It's not going to make a difference here, but I'll show you what I'm going to do. I was going to avoid the zipper tabs, but I forgot. And the opening is at the top of the hoop on this bag instead of the bottom. I got talking and forgot. So all I'm doing is trimming about 1/4 inch all the way around the bag. Now, my zipper tabs are coming up. Here it is right here. So what I normally like to do is I like to avoid cutting my zipper ends short. Here are the zipper ends. I will trim them down to about 1/2 inch, but I don't like to cut them as short as the bag. If you've ever done a bag and had it start to pull away, there at the zipper on the side, it's because you trimmed the zipper ends too short and you started putting too much pressure on the bag. And again, too, you don't want to cut your tab ends real short. If you cut your tab ends short, going in and out of your bag with the strap put on, you could pull those out. Debbie, I'm not sure what you mean by insulating foam. All I'm going to recommend is the foam that I use because I've used it numerous times now. I've been using it in lots of designs. So, I know that it works and I like how it works. So here at our opening, I only need these 2 pieces that make up the opening. So it's this piece of fabric makes it up and this piece of fabric makes it up. Everything else behind here, that's more bulk. I'm just going to trim that away. All right, so now we're going to get ready to turn. Now know that we used foam, so it's going to make it a little bit, harder to turn. Not that bad, but it will be a little harder to turn. So what I like to do is I stick my hand in and I go to a far corner. And then I kind of take that corner. Oops, one other thing I want to do before I do that, I trimmed all the way around, but on these corners, this purse has rounded corners. I do want to clip into that rounded corner. I'm just making small little clips. I'm not cutting the stitches. You want to do those small little clips because what it's doing is it's going to relax the fabric and the foam also and make, your corners push out a lot nicer. Let me just make sure I got them trimmed down also well. All right, I think that's pretty good. All right, so now I'm going to stick my hand in and go to a far corner. I'm going to just kind of cup that corner in, get it pushed in, and start working it down towards the bottom of the bag. And I get that other corner in. I'm going to start to turn it. I'm turning it slowly. You can see now the foam, though, it's turning. This is turning pretty easily. Yeah, Renee, it is going to be a tiny bit harder than, if you use batting, but you see how easy that was? It didn't, make it extremely hard to turn at all. but it will be a little bit harder than if you just use batting. So I'm using my fingers now to kind of get those corners poked out first. After I kind of get them out a little bit, I'll go back with my tool. I like to use this turning tool. This is also in that list of supplies, link to it. These get a little bit hard to find, and I like to push my corner out. See how nice that corner came out right there? Go to the other corner here at the top, get it pushed out, go all the way down to the bottom. Get that turned out, pushed out really nicely. Get this last one pushed out nicely. Also with this tool, what I like to do is take it and see I'm running it. I'm on the inside. You can see me moving it up there. I like to push my side seams out too. All right, so at this point, I would give the bag, like a quick press. I'm not really going to press it for you, but, press it on both sides. You're going to want to take your opening now, turn it to the inside, both pieces. That's why we left it longer. And if you want to hand sew that, you can hand sew it. If you want to use fusible tape, you can use fusible tape. I'm not going to do that right now, just to save some time, but you would close that opening up here. We'll pretend that I've closed it. We're going to reach in. We're going to take this zipper, get it fully opened, and now stick our hand down inside. And when you do it, you want to make sure, let's see if you can see inside there. Remember, we have our open pocket. Stick your hand down to turn it inside the open pocket. Go to the other side. You want to be able to see your zipper, and then stick your hand in and turn it. Now let's see. I think I'm going to have to do what I did last time and just go to a corner, get it pushed up towards that zipper, get everything pushed. Look at how easy that was, even with that foam in there. And that is why I love that dime foam, that Sew Any Shape foam. It's very, what do I want to say, pliable, maybe. Use your fingers to get those corners poked out well. We want to get these top corners turned out well. And I would use my tool again to get everything pushed out nicely. See that corner? It's pushed out really well. I was going to say I didn't really want to take the time to push all my corners out for you because you kind of know that, but the bottom corners have a little bit more fabric in them and stuff, so you want to work them a little bit more. But let's just kind of zip these up. Again, you would take, your iron and give it a nice press, but you're going to notice we have our bottom zipper pocket fully lined, no raw edge. We have our open outside pocket, fully lined, no raw edge. And we have our top zipper pocket, fully lined, no raw edge, goes all the way down to the bottom. And then, I would add my strap. So I use just swivel hooks on the end of the strap and clip those on to my little D-rings, and my purse is done. Remember my, what is it? The May demo. I'm going to show you how I make straps and how I make adjustable straps. So what did you guys think of that? I know it took a little bit longer. It's got more steps involved in the design, but I don't know. I thought you guys would really like to see it. So let me hold it up this way for you. And let's look at the side view. See the nice dimension you have? And I was going to show you the bag that I made. Let me grab it here. Same size bag, same exact bag. Let me hold this one up. Notice I'm holding it at the bottom. It's standing up. The one that I made with batting, let me hold it at the bottom. It flops down because there's batting. It's a very soft bag. So, you want a bag with some structure to it. You're going to want to use the foam. And like I said, I've been experimenting with this foam. I've been using it in a lot of different designs, and I absolutely love it. So you can see again, let me see if you can see that quilting on there. Let me see if I can get that kind of close up. See how nice the quilting looks? It's great. It's absolutely beautiful. It's a nice structured bag. All right, so I'm kind of looking through some of the questions. Camille remembers when I used to come to Meisner's every year. That was so much fun. That was up in Sacramento in California. Lots of fun times there. And Lois says, you do a great job at my demos. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. We are going to get ready to pick the winner for the $20 gift card. Make sure you have typed in #garden, just like it says right up here. Okay, it has to be just like that. Someone asked about using soft and stable. I used to use that in bags, but again, it's this sew any shape foam, and let me grab it again. This stuff is the bomb, okay? I'm telling you now, it's working in every bag. Oh, here, let me show you this. Remember, I talked about the event with Angela Wolf, the summer sewing and embroidery event that's coming up next Saturday. And I'm doing this little clutch in the hoop. I used the sew any shape foam in this little 5x7 bag. I used it for, the flap, and I used it in the bag, in a 5x7 bag. No problem whatsoever. And vinyl. This is like a vinyl fabric. No problem whatsoever turning it. You saw how easy it was for me to turn that other bag? I highly, highly recommend this. And there are links for it in that list of links that I gave you. Does the foam soften with use? No, it really retains its shape. I wouldn't use it if it, got all floppy. Do any recorded demos on the straps? What I'm going to do my next Tuesday tip, which is May. What did I say earlier? I had my list. You need to go back. If you missed anything, go back and rewatch this because I went over a ton of information. May 2nd is my May Tuesday tip. I'm going to show you how to make a strap, an adjustable strap. So make sure you like, follow, and interact with Embroidery Garden's Facebook page. The more you do that, Facebook works on algorithms, and the more you do that, it shows Facebook, this is a page I want to see. I want to show up in my news feed. So you do that, and the page will show up in your news feed, and you'll get all the notices of what I got going on. And if you were here at the beginning, you saw I got a lot of stuff going on, a lot of stuff coming up. Yes, the bag can be washed with foam. The foam in it, foam is washable. Bag fabric is washable. So you certainly can wash anything. I did not use foam in the Monroe bag. On the Monroe bag, I just used batting. I could have used foam. I just chose to use batting on it. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to share my screen, and we are going to pick the winner for the $20 gift card to Embroidery Garden. And here we go. We share it, and I'm going to click draw, and whoever wins, remember, if it says Facebook user, I got to do it again because Facebook user cannot win. And the winner is Marion Lackney. Marion, you send me an email to support@embroiderygarden.com. Contact me on Facebook. Just get a hold of me somehow, and I will get you the $20 gift card to embroiderygarden.com. Remember, if you enjoy my demos, you like to watch my lives, you want to know what's going on, you like my designs. Remember the 2 designs I showed you at the beginning of this demo. The Coffee Buzz mug rug is out. That little hanging with the fringe flowers, I hope to get that put up tomorrow. So remember, yeah, you can watch this again on Embroidery Garden's Facebook page. You can also watch it on Embroidery Garden's YouTube channel. If you subscribe to Embroidery Garden's YouTube channel, then you get noticed whenever I go live. So I want to thank you all for joining me today. Great time with you all. Remember, I'll be doing the recipe towel next month. I believe that was the 20th I've got it scheduled for. But again, you follow the page, you're going to get all that information. So thanks, everyone, and have a great rest of your day.